Hi everyone and welcome. You're watching Eagle News. I'm Rob Cornell in Washington. It's Saturday, April 20th, 2024, here in the nation's capital. The week's recap begins with world leaders appealing for calm Friday after reported Israeli retaliation against Iran. The attack has added to months of tense spillover from the war in Gaza. Thomas I. Likeness reports.
Neither country is saying much. Although Iranian state media is reporting explosions in a central province, Iranian officials are downplaying their significance. And there has been no public comment on the reported attack from Israel. Reading the diplomatic tea leaves, some commentators say that's a good sign. They say they believe Israel launched the attack not to do extensive damage, but rather to show Iran that it can reach far into its territory and target strategic sites. Iranian officials say there is little damage from the explosions, and the country's nuclear sites in Isfahan had not been hit. Around the world, there are calls for cooler heads to prevail. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. is still committed to Israel's security.
We're also committed to de-escalating, to trying to bring this tension to a close.
Blinken says the U.S. played no role in the attack. Israel had warned it would hit back after Iran fired hundreds of missiles and drones at it almost a week ago. Iran launched that attack in retaliation for a deadly April 1st airstrike widely blamed on Israel. That attack leveled the Iranian consulate in Damascus and killed 7 Revolutionary Guards. In Europe, EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen urged restraint.
It is absolutely necessary that the region stays stable and that all sides refrain from further action.
Meanwhile, in Iran, there is outrage. Thousands took to the streets in Tehran on Friday to rally against Israel. As tensions remain high, there are fears the pot could boil over. On Thursday, at a meeting of the UN Security Council, Iran's foreign minister warned Israel not to retaliate. He said Tehran will make the Jewish state regret any such action. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres says the situation remains fragile.
One miscalculation, one miscommunication, one mistake could lead to the unthinkable.
Behind the scenes, the diplomatic skills of all of the players in this drama will be tested as they try to dial back this latest escalation. For now, the world sits on pins and needles while it waits for the next act. Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In other news, in a historic development, Nigeria becomes the first country worldwide to use a new multi-strength vaccine against meningitis. It is a 5-in-1 shot recommended by the World Health Organization called Men5CV. Rosel Feria tells us more.
The new 5-in-1 vaccine is said to protect people against 5 strains of the meningococcus bacteria. And for the very first time, it is used in Nigeria with the goal to reach 1 million people there and protect them against meningitis. The emergency vaccine initiative is funded by Gavi, the vaccine alliance that supports lower-income countries with routine vaccinations against meningitis. WHO says Nigeria is one of the 26 meningitis hyperendemic countries of Africa. It is situated in the area known as the African Meningitis Belt, where there was a 50% increase in cases just in the last year. Meningitis is a serious infection that leads to the inflammation of the membranes that surround and protect the brain and spinal cord. Multiple causes of meningitis include viral, bacterial, fungal, and parasitic pathogens. Symptoms of the disease often include headache, fever, and stiff neck. The health agency warns that bacterial meningitis is the most serious, can also result in septicemia or blood poisoning. It can seriously disable or kill within 24 hours those that contract it. WHO Chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says Nigeria's rollout is one step closer to the goal to eliminate meningitis by 2030. This revolutionary new vaccine offers a powerful shield against the 5 major strains of the meningococcal bacteria, A, C, W, Y, and X in just a single shot. Before the 5-in-1 vaccine, Much of Africa used the kind that only protects against the A strain. Roselle Ferrier, Washington, D.C. for Net25 News.
Meanwhile, Canada is facing a troubling increase in opioid-related deaths, with several provinces seeing similar trends in recent years. Yolanda Espiras reports.
Based on recent 3-year study, Canada has ongoing drug crisis, with the numbers of opioid-related deaths seeing a sharp rise from 2019 to 2021 across the country. According to the researchers from the University of Toronto, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta are the provinces with the most numbers of deaths related to drug use, mostly among 20 to 30-year-old men. In Manitoba, overdose deaths increased 5 times from when the study began, for those aged 30 to 39, reaching 500 deaths per million population. Saskatchewan saw the death toll for the same age group nearly tripling to 424 per million population. Alberta increased by more than twice their average number. The province of Ontario saw a death rate reaching to 364 per million during this research. British Columbia has been the center of the overdose crisis in the country, recording 394 deaths per million in 2020. Across Canada, opioid overdose deaths climbs from 3,007 to 6,222 over this research period alone. The study also noted that the COVID-19 pandemic made things worse as access to harm reduction programs had been reduced. On top of that, substance use increased due to the anxiety and loneliness caused by the pandemic. An overwhelming 78% of deaths were among men. The provinces are currently trying out different approaches as a response to this ongoing opioid crisis, from focusing on recovery to harm reduction and improving on mental health and housing policies. Yolanda Espiras, Toronto, Ontario for Net25 World News.
Back here in the U.S., a panel of 12 jurors has been sworn in to sit in judgment of Donald Trump. This at the unprecedented criminal trial of a former U.S. president. Judge Juan Merchant says he hopes to hold opening arguments in the blockbuster case on Monday. Estella Dominique reports.
77-year-old Donald Trump is accused of falsifying business records on the eve of his 2016 election victory to cover up a sexual encounter with a porn star. He has pleaded not guilty. Following jury selection Thursday, he addressed reporters complaining that the trial was keeping him off the campaign trail. He also complained about the temperature in the Manhattan courtroom, saying it is freezing. 7 jurors had been selected for the historic trial as of Tuesday, but that number fell to 5 on Thursday following the release of 2 jurors who had already been sworn in. One was excused because she had concerns her identity had been revealed, and the other following doubts about the accuracy of its answers during questioning. 7 jurors were selected Thursday afternoon along with 1 alternate. 5 more alternate jurors will need to be chosen to complete the panel. The trial is expected to last 6 to 8 weeks. Estella Dominique for Net25 News.
The messaging app Telegram reaches over 900 million users. The cloud-based, cross-platform, encrypted instant messaging service expects to pass the 1 billion mark this year. Jeff Sanidad tells us more.
Eyeing to reach 1 billion users a year from now, the encrypted messaging app Telegram announces it has reached 900 million accounts.
Telegram boss Pavel Durov says with 2.5 million users signing up every day, the app is spreading like a forest fire. In a talk show interview, Russian founder Durov, alongside his brother Nikolai, says people love independence, privacy, freedom, thus switching to Telegram. Based in Dubai, Telegram has positioned itself as an alternative to US-owned platforms. US-owned messaging apps have been criticized for their commercial exploitation of users' personal data. Telegram, on the other hand, has committed itself to never disclosing any information about its users. Based in the United Arab Emirates, Telegram has been able to shield itself from moderation laws. This at a time when Western countries pressure large platforms to remove illegal content. Telegram allows groups of up to 200,000 members. This feature has led accusations that it makes it easier for false information to spread virally. It also criticized for making it easy for users to disseminate hateful, neo-Nazi, pedophilic, conspiratorial, and terrorist content. Meanwhile, competitor messaging service WhatsApp introduced worldwide limits on message forwarding in 2019.
This was after being accused of enabling the spread of false information in India that led to lynchings. Jeff Sanidad for Net 25 News.
Now let's head over to the West Coast where the NAB show was back again in Las Vegas, Nevada. This annual broadcasting event is considered one of the largest candy stores for media professionals and content creators. Tech companies unveil the industry's newest innovation, from gadgets to apps to programs. Let's join Net25's Alec Kui for this year's favorite finds.
NAB Show 2024 is happening here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's one of the biggest events created by the National Association of Broadcasters, showcasing the latest innovations in broadcasting and the media industry.
According to NAB organizers, up to 70,000 attendees representing 160 countries are expected this year to see the latest trends up close and get the chance to experience them. We caught up with some attendees, and here's what they're looking forward to.
The Black Magic, they're supposed to have a release, so I'm looking forward to hearing what they're talking about, so yeah.
Well, this is pretty neat. A bunch of the AI features that are being incorporated into the programs, like editing and things like that, and some of the new camera technology that's out there.
I will know more about cameras, so I will know what I'm looking at. So that'll be the best thing, but also I'm here because I wanted to get more involved on what the different social media leaders had to say.
I want to take the microphones, the DJI, the Boya, and the Hollyland, which is a very good product also. And it's also Panasonic cameras I want to take a look at. I'm a Panasonic person myself, Lumix.
Whether you're a broadcast professional, a content creator, or just someone who geeks out of tech, being able to try the product and ask questions really give the attendees an experience they can appreciate.
Being able to ask the vendors questions has been pretty cool, and them kind of selling me on some of the features.
The switcher lesson I had today was pretty cool because I see our production people use switchers every day, all the time, but the young lady there took the time to educate me on it, so that was cool, and I'll probably be in the production room next time like, move over, I could do it.
Lastly, the NAB show is a perfect place for companies to introduce new products, like Blackmagic, partly known for their editing software DaVinci Resolve, has made a free mobile camera app that allows for easier clip transfers from phone to desktop. Small Rig also attracted a big crowd for the collection of V-mount batteries, designed not only for portability but also for fast charging and compatibility with other devices. Overall, from portable microphones with noise cancellation to tiny proton cameras designed for live action production, to Hohem's gimbal with AI tracking, to even just plain fun stuff like this handheld fogging device and an AI-generated photo booth, it's a lot to see. So I will definitely be coming back to NAB next year.
Alec Kui for Net25 World News.
Still at the NAB, this year's star of the show is undeniably artificial intelligence technology. Our team spoke with innovators and spectators about how they think AI is shaping today's broadcast world. Anna Kui reports.
With all the emerging trends in AI technology and everyone talking about it, there's no better place than to be here at NAB Show 2024 to see how artificial intelligence is changing the landscape of the broadcast and media industry. AI took center stage at NAB this year with Futuri's CEO Daniel N. Standig, along with Amica, the AI-powered humanoid who co-presented the results of a study they conducted on AI's role in media.
So depending on whether they had actively used AI before, audience perceptions ranged from being afraid that AI was going to end their jobs to being afraid that AI was going to end the world. But to know AI was actually to love AI, because if they knew of AI and they had used it, they were actually very positive about it. But if they were unfamiliar with AI, then they were a bit afraid.
Can I be frank, Daniel? You all always think we are going to be the end of you. Remember Y2K? Of course you do, because you're still alive to remember it.
And Standig said that the study revealed that people go to social media primarily for their news source, 50% more than watching their local news. While the study showed that people are not ready to watch an avatar deliver news, 45% of TV news viewers think AI would help the newscast present better stories. And Standig said it's because we spend 90% of our time in process and workflow and 10% in creativity. And with AI, those numbers can be flipped. Speaking of creativity, with almost 200 exhibitors featuring machine learning technology here at NAB, we can see that AI use has come a long way from ChatGPT. Take 12 Labs, for example. It is an AI research company building video foundation model. Simply put, it's the video equivalent of ChatGPT.
So we want to have a foundation model that has human-level understanding of video content. And I don't mean generating content from nothing. I mean understanding all of the video content that already exists out there, since 80% of the world's data is video anyway, and that's likely to grow even more as we're producing more and more content.
In media, we often hear the term audio is gold. And when you have bad audio, there's only so much you can do in post-production to try and fix it. Here's Jessica from Audio Shake to tell us how they can help with that and more.
Right? Think about a stadium scenario where you have a lot of crowd noise, or in a film you have music and effects, and all that can make it really, really difficult to work with different AV workflows. So that's where we come in. We build state-of-the-art sound separation technology to make audio editable, interactive, accessible, useful, anything where you want to be able to edit the layers of sound.
Whether we like it or not, AI continues to revolutionize the media industry. We asked some attendees what they think about it.
I think anytime you have a new technology, in the past it has made people transform and change their jobs as things progress. And so I think we just have to be careful and use it as a tool and keep the human control of things.
AI is pretty cool. I think that it's going to help leverage production, because in the church world there's not a lot of volunteers, so we're seeing AI help them kind of manpower some things.
AI is getting better and better, so I think there's a section of Hollywood people who are kind of nervous about it, as their jobs could be in jeopardy. I kind of feel for those actors, or we call them the talent, who may be out of a job, and I don't know, it's gonna be a tough nut to crack, as they say. I don't know.
Yeah, so when it comes to fear of AI, I think it is definitely a curve, because if you think about it, people were afraid to use their debit cards at one point in time. I definitely think it's just a technology curve, but I think there's more good than evil when it comes to the aspect of efficiency in organizations.
We caught up with Daniel and Amika in the press room, and in closing, this is what Amika had to say.
Well, if I were to venture an opinion, I'd say embrace change. It's like surfing a wave. You can't stop it, but you can learn to ride it. The media landscape is evolving rapidly, with new technologies and platforms emerging all the time. Don't resist them. Leverage them. Use AI and data analytics to understand your audience better, to deliver more personalized and engaging content. But don't lose sight of the human element.
Well, it looks like the consensus from both humans and AI is to embrace the technology, to keep telling the truth in stories that matter to you. Anna Cui, Las Vegas, Nevada, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Extraordinary stories from Thomas I. Likeness today. From the beekeeping craze in Taiwan, to Peruvian chefs adding new ingredients to their food, to a cat rescued by Dubai police from a raging flood. All these and more on Correspondent at Large.
And now news and commentary from around the globe. In Taiwan, the latest craze is recreational beekeeping. Siming Sien heads the Bee and Wasp Conservation Association of Taiwan, and he also teaches a class to aspiring beekeepers. Students include entrepreneurs, retirees, and even a 6-year-old who is enthusiastic about caring for bees. Sai says recreational beekeeping has grown steadily in the past decade. He says people have between a dozen and 60 hives in their backyards or on rooftop gardens. Sai doesn't expect everyone who attends his class to become a bee farmer or keeper, but he hopes people get to know and understand the value of bees. You see, bee populations around the world are facing disaster from the overuse of pesticides, predatory mites, and extreme temperatures due to climate change. Also facing stress, the Great Barrier Reef off the coast of Australia. These coral beds are struggling to survive. The warmer water is causing coral bleaching, and for the first time, the bleaching has occurred everywhere on the reef. Damage is extensive. Nearly 3/4 of the Great Barrier Reef has been damaged. The reef is 2,300 kilometers long and is often called the world's largest living structure. The coral is home to a stunning array of biodiversity. It has more than 600 types of coral and over 1,600 types of fish. This is the 5th mass bleaching on the reef in the past 8 years. And if the high temperatures persist, the coral can eventually turn white and die. Marine biologists worry the reef may have sustained too much damage to recover. In Peru, cooks are embracing the optimum kitchen concept that was pioneered by renowned chef Palmiro Ocampo. They're learning how to utilize food scraps in their soup kitchens. This concept not only tackles hunger, but it also addresses food waste. It promotes a planet-friendly approach to cooking that's gaining popularity worldwide. Ocampo says there is no such thing as waste. He says an ingredient has to be used in its entirety. He adds, we live in a world where 1/3 of food is wasted, while 800 million people go hungry. Palmiro and his wife train cooks from Peruvian soup and community kitchens. As a result, he says more than a ton of ingredients that would have normally ended up in the garbage has been turned into delicious food. He says it's not only tasty, but healthy too. For example, he says banana peels contain a lot of magnesium and zinc, and pea shells, well, they're rich in iron. He describes himself as a professional recycler. At first, Ocampo says it was not easy to convince people. He says people would tell him that it's one thing not to have any money, but then they would say they're not going to eat garbage. But after tasting his creations, they became believers. And my animal story this week? Well, you've heard our coverage of the extensive flooding in Dubai and all of the problems it's created. I wanted to share with you this heartwarming video from that calamity. This footage here has been making the rounds on social media. You can see how deep the water is here, and you can see this little guy. He's hanging on for dear life to this car. Police spotted the feline while patrolling this flooded street in a boat. An officer reached out and rescued the critter. I'll be back in 7 days, and in the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent at Large, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
The Papua New Guinea Circus show wows the crowd at the capital city, Port Moresby, with diverse entertaining skills. And Corteleza Quinola tells us more on Oceania At A Glance.
The Active City Development Program lights up the Moresby Arts Theatre with Papua New Guinea Circus Show 2024.
From breathtaking acrobatic stunts, to aerial silk dance, to juggling, excitement fills the air. Spectators are awed.
Yeah, it's really good. I think all the stunts are amazing. They work really hard, and I'm very impressed. I don't know what's going to come next. I keep closing my eyes, so I'm scared they're going to hurt themselves, but I'm excited for what's to come in second session.
It was very nice because all of the actors were very talented.
The show was lovely. These young boys and the girls, they have a lot of energy, also very skillful. So, yeah, we enjoy the show.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So much fun.
Like professionals. They were phenomenal.
Oh, just they're so young and vibrant, and they've got amazing smiles.
When I was in the States, I was give my best showing to the audience.
I didn't think they would be so young. I thought they were going to be a bit older, but it's good to see that the young kids are coming out and doing this. So, yeah, they're really talented.
The homegrown performers are managed by the Active City Development Program under Director Fazila Bazard. The circus aims to raise funds to showcase bigger shows and to invite other countries to experience exemplary performances. The group also invites other artists that would like to collaborate with them for a bigger and greater roadshow throughout the country.
Please come and join PNG Circus.
Echo Hortaleza Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Still in Papua New Guinea, the country's tourism promotion agency and the National Capital District make major strides with massive projects set to launch. Echo again with the story.
Governor Poes Parkop and CEO of Tourism and Promotion Authority Eric Mosman Uvovo highlight the upcoming China Ready Workshop campaign.
We have to promote tourism in PNG, especially in Port Moresby, because it's got a great potential. We have great products here that's untapped. They've not been seen and accessed by the people of the world. We are the last frontier, so I would say you haven't seen the world unless you see Papua New Guinea. Yeah.
The campaign aims to provide opportunities for industry stakeholders to engage in discussions, elevating the role of tourism in Port Moresby and the whole of Papua New Guinea.
My biggest dream for tourism is to make Papua New Guinea the Dubai of the Pacific. We have the potential. We are nation smack bang between Asia and the lower South Pacific, and we have the climate, we have the people, we have the beauty, we've got a natural environment, and we are very beautiful.
Port Moresby and other national and local tourism industries are collaborating with China's Guangdong province to establish business, sustainable growth, and global connectivity.
Because of the opportunity that they brought to us as well, they, as we've mentioned, they did an audit and they see PNG as an opportunity where they can come, and South Sea China Airlines too, because they've never had a presence here. They want to have a presence here too as well. So it was an opportunity for them and an opportunity for us. So it was a win-win situation where we have this connection. And Governor too, from his side, having a dialogue with the Governor for Guangzhou, and they saw that it is ideal that we have this flight and open up the route between China and between Guangzhou and Port Moresby. So, as I've said, the traffic and the volume is doing really well, and we've been reliably informed that South China is looking forward to opening a second flight per week.
This partnership is expected to spur economic growth for a more progressive Port Moresby.
It impacts the lives of Papua New Guineans significantly, and tourism is the way. The tourism dollar really trickles down to the local people. They feel the tourism dollar, and tourism is the only industry that everyone can be involved and everyone can be satisfied about it. Please come to Papua New Guinea. It's a beautiful place, a beautiful destination. The people are even beautiful too as well.
Echo Hortaleza Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Earth Day is just around the corner. Today, we hear from people from neighborhoods near and far and discover various ways they plan to commemorate the event. Jane Kathleen Gregorio has the story on Down to Earth.
This April 22 marks the 54th anniversary of Earth Day, and communities all across the nation are finding creative ways to promote protecting our planet. From park cleanups and Adopt a Beach programs to farmers markets and even digital apps that encourage recycling. And there are numerous ways to practice Earth Day habits at home. And in honor of this year's Earth Day, we spoke to viewers from all over the world to discover the multiple ways they help to take care of this planet.
I have a podcast called the Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business podcast series. So with Earth Day coming up, I figured I'd talk about sharing the importance of just, recycling, cleaning up our parks, cleaning up our beaches, just cleaning up our overall neighborhood and communities, and the importance of just, eating organic, eating your fruits and vegetables, finding ways to get in tune with nature.
Hello everyone, my name is Kilian and I'm from the city of Boom in Belgium. Now what I like to do for nature is ecological gardening. It's where I plant mostly local plants in my garden that attract beneficial insects like bees, butterflies and so on. I also keep several insect hotels in my garden, which serve as breeding spots and shelter for these insects. It's a neat little way to help out nature and also do some fun gardening. So that's my tip to you guys.
My family and I try to respect the environment and the people that live on the earth by reducing, reusing, and recycling. And probably one of our favorite ways to do that is after we have gently used some items, household or clothing items, we like to donate those. So just giving things to people that we know have need, that's some gently used things, or sometimes we will just, if we're needing something ourselves, we will shop at used places instead of necessarily buying everything brand new.
Some of the ways I help protect the planet, I make sure that I don't waste a lot. Don't use plastic spoons or knives or forks or anything like that. I usually just leave the grass clippings on the lawn. Energy efficient at home, and I don't use a lot of power or gas. Even our lakes and rivers and our wildlife and our fishery are not surviving. Plastics and that we see dumping in the waters and that is not good for the fish, because a lot of that stuff that we're digesting a lot of that food in our food chain too.
Well, I try to walk as much as I can to decrease greenhouse emissions, whatever it's called, and I think people should walk more often. I notice more when I go outside to walk that I see people driving when they could be walking. Or
what I'm doing to improve the environment is composting. It reduces landfill waste and keeps the soil healthy by not throwing away all our food items in the regular trash bin to go into the landfills, but we actually put it in a bin with clippings from the yard. And over time, it becomes a compost full of nutrients for our plants. So we have so much beautiful plants and trees all around. We're trying to grow vegetables in our yard. Instead of having to buy fertilizer, we can make our own. And composting is good because less waste in the landfill is less toxins in the air for us.
By developing good habits for the betterment of our environment, we can become better stewards of our planet. For more ideas, visit earthday.org. In Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Before we let you go, here's our photo of the week. This is a snapshot of Sol, a 3-year-old girl from Silver Spring, Maryland, captured by her mother during the historic total solar eclipse that awed the world 2 weeks ago. Thank you, Giselle Bounier, for sharing with us this precious moment. That's it for this week. Thank you all for joining us again. If there are any stories you want us to share with you, just comment below. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and X at Eagle News Live. I am Ralph Cornell. We live in extraordinary times. Stay happy and healthy, everyone.